All right, let's make some fun little letters. You can use this of any letter of the alphabet. I have templates that have them already printed. So basically you print them and then you cut them out. So I'm going to do a CCA. So I already did a C and an A. And so here's the C that we're going to use. So what you need is you need a 2 pieces of 4x4 square. So here's 4-inch square and another 4-inch square. One's from the front, one's for the back, so they don't have to be the same color. I did both navy, and then I'm going to glue a magnet on the back so it kind of hides it anyway. So here we go. So I have a scrap piece of fabric, and then you need some kind of batting. And basically you just sandwich the batting between the 2 pieces of fabric. So fabric, batting, more fabric, like that. Then I'm going to pin my little template that I cut out onto the fabric. Now, you can pin it on, or you could draw, like trace it. Now, I didn't trace it because I have dark fabric and it's hard to see like a pencil mark or something on this. And I didn't have a fabric pen. So I'm just going to pin it on, and it's really up to you how you want to do it. And then I want to pin these pieces of fabric together. So I have all of this pinned together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the sewing machine and I'm going to sew just outside the template so that I could come up with my little C. All right, so head to the sewing machine. All right, so I have it pinned to my fabric, and now I'm going to sew it. So I'm on straight stitch, and I'm going to line it up. I want to line up my needle right on the outside of the piece of paper. So I know that's very difficult to see, but I'm on the blue fabric. I'm not sewing on the paper. And then I'm just going to sew right along the outside of the template. So this is very tedious. You have to go super slow and super controlled as you do this. You're probably going to have to use your hand wheel a lot in doing it because you want to get as close to the paper without driving over it so that you can get the adequate shape. And then you see your pin is going to get in the way too, so you got to move the head of your pin. So it's real important to use these stainless steel pins, not the ones that have the balls on the end. Try to move it out of your way as you go, but don't unpin it because it's very precise and you want to make sure you follow the line. So as I get around the outside of the C, which believe it or not is the easy part, it's when I get to the center, and all letters are going to be different. So I'm going to hand wheel so I can make sure I'm very accurate. And don't be afraid. It's better to go on the outside of the paper than actually go on the paper. So I actually want 1 stitch past so that I can pivot pretty accurately. And again, hand wheel through this process is probably a good idea. So this is very precise and detailed, tedious sewing. But it's very important or else you won't have your shape correct. Remember, when you pivot, this is very important that your needle is in before you move your fabric because you're really going to see these stitches, especially me because I'm doing white on navy, so you really see my stitches. So I'm almost done the center. Okay, and just the last part of the C. And then I want to meet up with where I started from. And you may want to do a tiny back stitch, because what I have found is if you don't, your thread is going to come out. So at least 1 or 2 stitches of a back stitch, but no more, because it'll look sloppy. All right, and then I'm going to take it out, cut my threads. So as you can see, now I'm going to keep you right here. So then, as I take out my pins, you can see what I've got left. And as I take off my template. So then I have the outline of the C sewed on. So my next step is I'm going to cut around it, and then I'm going to glue the magnet on the back. All right, so I'm going to cut off my threads, and I need some really sharp scissors. Oh, my thread got stuck in my sewing there. Pull that out. Okay, some nice sharp scissors, and I'm going to cut around it. Now, I want to stay close, but obviously I don't want to cut the stitches. So how close? Well, as you can see, I'm not very far off. The closer the better, but what's more important is that you're consistent. So if you're 1/8 of an inch away or a centimeter away or whatever you decide to be, try to stay, which is not easy. Again, this is a very precise project that will help you develop your skill of patience. Okay, so I'm cutting that off. You can always go back and trim a little. You'll see it puffs out because of the batting inside there, so that's why. All right, so once I got that part, I'm going to cut to the inside. Cut to the inside. And always, if you're right-handed, you want to keep the line to your left on the left side of your blade. That's the best way to see it. And if you notice, I'm keeping this hand still, and I'm actually moving the C. I'm actually moving the project, but my scissors stay still. So my right hand is just focused on squeezing the scissors, and my left hand is focused on turning or moving the object that I'm cutting. Okay? That's how you can get a little bit more precise on your cutting. There we go. All right, so there's my CCA. So the difference between this one and this one is I glued a magnet to the back so that it can stick to the refrigerator or whatever magnetic surface. Now you don't have to do that. You can keep them just as they are, but I kind of want to make them a little bit more useful. So I have all these magnet blanks. I don't know, I had a bunch of these. They were given to me. Say, hey, can you use them for something? I'm like, no, but now maybe I can. So I want to take, oh, I lost my little paper C. So I'll take my little paper C, and I want to trace it. Now you'll need Sharpie for this because you need a permanent marker. And this could be just a rough trace, and I'll show you why in a minute. You're not cutting it the size of this. You're cutting it a little smaller than this. So there's like my little rough trace of it. So when I cut it, by the way, use cheap paper scissors now. Do not use your fabric shears for this. You want to cut to the inside of it. So I want to cut off that black line that I traced because I need it to be smaller than my C that I stitched. So I don't want it to show. So see how I'm going on the inside of the black line? Notice again, my right hand is staying still. My left hand is doing all the movement of this magnet. And if you have sharp scissors, it works really well. Like that. My C. And I want to see if it fits, which it does. I think I'm going to cut, you see right here, I'm going to cut that off a little better. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because what you're trying to do, you're trying to glue it to the back without it showing. So that works. That works well. So then, I'm getting a little paper towel here because this gets messy. I don't want to get adhesive all over my cutting mat. So then, I'm trying to get my spray adhesive, get the top off. Okay, so I have some spray adhesive, which my spray nozzle is popped off. Oop, there we go. So I'm going to spray this generously, and I'm going to stick on my magnet. That. Get that cleaned off. Throw that away. And there we got my CCA. And I know you guys aren't spelling out CCA. You're probably going to spell out your name or whatever. But here we go.